Hello everyone, in this video we're going to take a look at pink PCBs because for the first time ever, as far as I'm aware, they are available as a standard order, which means you don't need to go request something special of anybody. You can just go straight to the site and buy them. So to answer the first question you're probably going to have is these come from PCB By, which is a PCB fab house out of China. We'll talk about them a little bit in a minute. It's not a sponsored video or anything, but just the order process is actually a little bit more different than I was used to, so I'll just talk through it. So there's not a lot to say about pink PCBs. They're pink. They look pretty nice. This is kind of like a baby pink, I would say. Yeah, it's nice. One thing you should note, especially if you are designing kind of artistic PCBs, is the solder mask is very opaque. So this is the same design as this green one here, and you can clearly see the difference between what the solder mask looks like when there's copper behind it, like in the center of the tree here, and when there's not, this little triangle here. And as you can see, you can barely see the outline of that on the pink tree, and if you kind of tilt it, you can see it a little bit more, but there's even some angles where you can't see it at all. So you can't see it on the left hand side at all nearly. It's just because of the big box light that you can see it on the right. So that's one thing to be aware of, that you won't get the two-tone effect. That's not new to pink. White is basically the same. This is the same design, and you can see the traces much clearer on the red than on the white. And it's kind of the same thing with the pink then as well. Like, you can see the traces if you look, but it's not as obvious as it is on the green here. So that's just one thing to note. I came across these pink PCBs from this Twitter user, Sad Electronics, who inquired with PCB By about getting pink PCBs, and they made it happen. So huge thanks to Sad Electronics for doing this. I know a lot of people were interested in getting pink, and now it's available. So Sad Electronics actually posts a good bit on Twitter about different ICs and interesting things that they find on LCSC. So they're well worth a follow. It's pretty interesting stuff. So next, let's take a look at PCB By, and I mentioned it's a little bit different, the order process, than I'm used to. I normally order off JLC or Oshpark. So the first thing you need to do with PCB By is enter in the dimensions of your design. So this is different from JLC, where they would just pluck this from your Gerber files. So yeah, you need to enter that in up here. So I've selected a quantity of 10, and as you can see, 10 green PCBs cost $2. So that's pretty good. It's even cheaper than JLC actually. But one thing to note is that it is size specific. So with JLC, anything below 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters is all the one price. That's not the same with PCB By. So yeah, just be aware of that bigger PCBs will cost more. So we're not here for green anyways, we're here for pink. So pink costs $21 for this design. So it's a good bit more expensive than green. Some of the other colors are cheaper. Again, they're $3 and $3 for yellow. Something like white is more expensive. So that's $12 for that design. One thing that you need to be careful about is, so you can see here I've went with white and it's changed my silk screen to black because you can't have white on white. And when I go back to pink now, it stays black, and that has increased the price of it. So just if you're playing around with the colors, make sure your silk screen is what you expect it to be. So yeah, anyways, $21. I normally go with lead free. That costs an extra $5 for each design. And yeah, so $26 for this isn't too bad. One thing that I didn't do when I was ordering was remove the production number. That costs an extra $1, but I would say is well worth it if you're trying to, have a nice PCB or whatever. So when you're finished with your design, you can click Save to Cart and go to the checkout. So this is where you now upload your Gerber, and I'm not a huge fan of this. I would definitely prefer to be uploading the Gerber ahead of time, because when I was ordering the 4 different designs, you don't really have a reference other than the size. Like, there's nothing for me to go, this was the Flexi Friend. So if you have similar sized PCBs, you just kind of have to keep track of it yourself. So yeah, I definitely would prefer the other approach of, yeah, not that. I also see it's gone to $30. What did I change there? So it's $27 according to this, which I thought it was, but now it's $30? Not sure. They will come back to you with a new price after you upload the Gerber anyways. So one of the times I was ordering it, I uploaded the wrong Gerber for one of them. I uploaded a panelized version of the finger rather than just a single finger, and I had input the size of a single finger, and they did adjust the price for me. So maybe you don't need to be very specific with the dimensions of it. It might just give you a rough idea, and they'll update the price when you upload the Gerber. So similar to PCBWay, as far as I know, I haven't used them in a few years. It's kind of a two-step order process. So you submit your order and upload your Gerbers, and it gets sent for review. And then after it gets reviewed by one of the engineers, you have to come back and pay for it then. And I would much prefer to just do that transaction all up front and, you know, get refunded or something if there's a problem with the order, or, you know, pay the additional amount if I have to pay more or whatever it is. But definitely I prefer the method that JLC do, where you just pay up front and proceed, and, you know, if there is a problem, they come back to you, and if there's not, you don't hear about it again. Because basically it means I need to sit down to order the PCBs twice rather than just the once. One time to submit the order, and then one time to actually pay. As for turnaround time, I thought it was pretty quick. It was a week. So I ordered on Wednesday the 25th of August in the evening time, and it arrived at my door Wednesday the 1st of September. So 7 days from ordering to delivery, which is pretty good. No complaints about that. The only PCBs that I would be able to get quicker are from JLC if I ordered just the green version. So I ordered green PCBs off JLC on Friday, and they arrived the same Wednesday. So, you know, that obviously is quicker, but they're only available in green. If I changed to any other color on JLC, it would have increased the production time to 5 days, so it wouldn't have been as quick. So for the cost, the total cost including delivery was $139.44. So $31 of this was DHL shipping, which is about the same as you'd probably pay off anybody for 4 designs, so no big complaints with that. The $6.44, I think I paid with PayPal. I normally do. So $6.44 as a PayPal fee is definitely more than it is with JLC, but not the end of the world, I guess, either. Yeah, so that's $140 for the 4 designs. 3 of them were pink, which were more expensive, and then one cheaper one, which was the matte black. And yeah, $140. That was not that was delivered, but not with tax, which was one of the big drawbacks of using PCB By in the EU at the moment, is that you'll still be liable for the VAT with the courier, while some of the other fab houses have that sorted already. They did mention that they're looking into getting it fixed at the moment, but no plans for it yet. So I think it was an extra €40 or so to pay when DHL were delivering. So in total it was about $200 for the 4 designs. So quite expensive. If you know, you probably would want to sort out your PCBs using green first, and then when you're happy with them, then order the pink versions, or at least that's probably how I do it, because I normally only get it right the 3rd time anyways. A visual inspection of the PCBs, they all look quite good. The solder mask is good, the silk screen is good. There's not really much to complain about. I soldered up one PCB with it already, and it was perfectly fine, no complaints about it. So yeah, it seems to be good quality. Can't complain about anything. It was a relatively small order of only like 35 PCBs, so that's a pretty small sample size. But I didn't see anything here that would warrant mentioning or complaining. So yeah, looks good. The other thing that I got was matte black PCB. So this is the matte black one from PCB By, and this is just a regular black one that I got from JLC maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So I don't know if it's still the same now, but you'll notice that while this is black, you know, if you look at that there, that looks like black. Beside other PCBs, it does look a tiny bit gray. So that might be one thing to watch out for if you're looking at the matte black one, that it isn't quite a dark black, if that makes sense. But yeah, it looks quite nice, but if you're trying to match something you already have, like you already have a PCB that's matte black and you want to get more of them, they're very reasonable for their matte black. It doesn't cost anything extra than most of the colors, but yeah, it's not quite as dark as some other colors. I did see them mention as well that they potentially had a brown PCB as well, which I had never seen before. So I did ask them could they include a sample of brown with my order, and in fairness, they did. So here is the brown PCB. It is a little bit scratched and stuff. They did mention that this was just a test file and it would be scratched. So don't let this kind of impact your thought on any of the rest of them. I didn't see any scratches on the ones I actually bought, but this sample one is just a little bit scuffed up. But as mentioned, it's not reflective of the production ones or the ones that I got made from them. But yeah, so it's a brown PCB. Not really my cup of tea, I don't think, unless you had a specific design or art kind of thing in mind, like maybe some form of a tree, you know, some form of art that's based around something brown, then I can't see why you would go for it. But yeah, it looks fine, looks nice. It doesn't really look nice, I don't know. It looks like a brown PCB. So interestingly enough, I think PCB By have been offering the pink PCBs for about 3 weeks now, and within that 3 weeks, PCBWay have now announced that they also offer pink PCBs. I'm not sure if that was a coincidence or they just saw the positive reaction PCB By were getting on Twitter, but it's now something that they offer anyways. So it's under their advanced PCB. The standard PCB doesn't have that color, but you can see pink is an option here too. But it's quite expensive. So this is the same FlexiFriend design that cost me $29 from PCB By the few weeks ago, and it's $80. So a huge difference in price. Now, PCBWay do support the EU VAT, as far as I know. I haven't ordered from them in a while, but I saw them mentioning it on Twitter. So it may work out a little bit cheaper in some ways, but I can't see any scenario where a $80 PCB cost is going to work out cheaper for you. But it's something to keep in mind. But yeah, it seems really expensive anyways. So that's it for pink PCBs. This video was not sponsored or anything, so huge thanks to my GitHub sponsors for helping support the channel, which will allow me to do things like experiment with different color PCBs. PCB By did add this brown PCB for free, so I don't know if that constitutes as a sponsorship or anything, but just to let you know. But yeah, huge thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Catch you next time. Bye bye.